Hello, microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello, and welcome to Atomic Movie Reviews Film Society. I am your host, Atomicon Rex. Here we discuss films that have a narrative background in aliens, ghosts, robots, and monsters. So, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, we're gonna do a deep dive. We're gonna do a Project Insight collaboration, and we're gonna call this the Ghost of Zozobra. It's a fire ritual that I attend in the capital of New Mexico, Santa Fe, and I attend it every year. I wasn't able to attend it for COVID, of course, and then the very year after COVID, I didn't attend. But I did attend this year, and I did attend last year. And so this year was pretty interesting. Usually I do the whole shuttle thing because, I'm from Albuquerque, so I usually take the shuttle and then take the shuttle back. But by the time you get home, it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm way too old to be doing that now, right? So I packed up the Jeep, went to the hotel, and drove out there, stayed out there the whole weekend, right? I had a pretty awesome experience doing that, because I wasn't so stressed about the whole shuttle thing, and I'm not carrying a bunch of things. I got a hotel room, and. So a lot of stress is like taking off the plate, right? Just by actual physically traveling there, renting a hotel, and just staying the weekend. Okay, so anyways, so the Zobra is basically a Burning Man ritual that happens in Labor Day weekend. I think the Labor Day weekend is like a recent thing. Like it's usually happens in September, like the first week of September, but I think they linked it to the Labor Day weekend for whatever reason. So this year, it's usually in September. Okay, but this year it was like August 30th. So it was kind of weird. I didn't really have a September vibe. Um, it didn't really sit right, right? Like I still feel as if I went to Zozobra last month as a part from this month because this is the month of Zozobra. This is why I'm doing this podcast for it. So I'm standing there in line, and I get there early. I get there before the roads are shut down, right? And it's basically the event takes place like right next to this mountain in Santa Fe. Like Santa Fe is a beautiful city. The city is just gorgeous. It's like old architecture. Every building there is adobe. And if you live in New Mexico, this place is mostly a desert. But when you go to Santa Fe, it gets really, really green. Like it's more north. So there's trees and there's wildlife. There's not scorpion and cactuses. So it was really nice to, where I parked my car, it was basically on top of this mountain. So I come down this mountain and then I see the Zobra. You have to kind of walk around to get in line. So I'm standing in line and I'm the first person there, right? I'm about 2 hours ahead, which wasn't my intent. I thought they opened at 3, but I guess they didn't open till 4 o'clock. And so I'm standing in line for like 2 hours. Well, this one guy, he had came down from Wyoming, and we get to talking because we're just standing there in line and everything. And he starts talking about the whole Zozobra story, which I thought I knew, right? But he's like, no, I'm talking about the actual Zozobra, like the ghost of Zozobra and what that's about. So he tells me this fascinating story about it, right? And like me, I don't know no better. I just thinking I'm going to a concert where they're burning some big tree, big puppeteer, right? And I'm just having a party. Okay, but there's an actual ritual and there's an actual story behind Zozobra. And we're about to get into it right now. So, like I said, it's a beginning of the fall festival. It sets off the festive season. It starts Labor Day. It's a monster kaiju nature spirit. And what I mean by that, it's a giant monster ghost, right? And what this thing does, what the legend has is that it's it's a spirit of doom and gloom, right? And it comes down this mountain once a year, and it just wreaks havoc on the townspeople, you know. And so basically, like if a plague hit or people got sick and all of this, they blamed their gloom on Zozobra. And so the tradition has it that when this ghost came down the mountain, made people sick and caused all of this famine and everything, that I forgot what tribe. I want to say the Cherokee tribe, but I don't know, a Native American tribe. They come out and they chant and they dance and they summon a fire spirit to combat this this ghost of doom and gloom called Zozobra. And that's basically what the whole ritual is about. You know, it's about the burning of Zozobra, about burning your doom and gloom. And so the ritual that's involved with that is that, let's say you had a bad year, you're going through a divorce, or your car got repossessed, or you had, God forbid, some medical problems, happen to you all of a sudden. On this day, okay, you write one thing down, one thing that's causing you gloom, okay, and you write this thing down, and then you take it to this event, and you throw it in the bonfire, basically, and you burn your gloom, okay, and it's really a representation of the fire spirit that the Native Americans summon, burning the gloom, the doom and gloom, the ghost of Zozobra, all the bad karma that you had during that year. You get to exercise it through that, and it's a real, how do you say it? I don't want to say like a rebirth, but it's a refreshing experience. Like if something's bothering you and you write this thing down on a piece of paper and you take it to the Zobra. Like for instance, like me, I have this anxiety thing. Like I just out of nowhere, right? And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna burn that. I'm gonna burn this anxiety. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I have it, but Jesus Christ, it comes and it like paralyzes me, right? So I write that down. I'm like, I'm gonna burn this at the ritual, right? So I write anxiety down. Like they have a whole thing where you can like give them $5 and you can write some crap down and they'll burn it for you, or you can just burn it yourself, which I did. I just burned it myself, but I did burn it, right? And I swear to God, bro, that next morning, man, like I was in another mind state, and I don't know what it was. I drove back to Albuquerque. The roads were clear, and I know it was Labor Day, but the roads were clear. It was a nice, beautiful Sunday morning. Like, it was just awesome. And you have to understand, like, before I went to the event, like, I'm leaving set. So I'm filming in Rio Rancho. Okay? I live in Albuquerque. I'm filming in Rio Rancho. Zozobra is in Santa Fe, right? So I leave set and I go towards Santa Fe. Now, when I leave set, it's like August 30th. It is helling outside. There's hell and rain, right? And so I'm talking to my friend, and she's waiting for the Uber. And I'm like, oh, I'll just take you, to your car or whatever. She's like, no, you got to go drive to Santa Fe. I'm like, yeah, but it's raining and pouring and shit. And like, I'm not really feeling driving on the freeway to Santa Fe in rain and hell. And she's like, no, you'll be okay, right? I'm like, all right, I'm going. So I jump in the car, I jump in the Jeep, I get on the freeway, right? Now I leave set about 8:30. It's pitch black, railing and helling, right? So like my knuckles, that anxiety is hitting me, right? I got white knuckles and everything. So I drive there, boom, I get there. It took like, it says an hour drive, but I'm not thinking I'm already in Rio Rancho, right? So I get there, it's like 9:20. So I go out to the bar and have a couple of drinks and everything. Well, anyways, that's how it started. Like, it started with doom and gloom. Like I left set and it was raining and pouring and hailing, right? And like I kind of didn't want to go, but I still went, right? I still faced the Zobra, right? And I still burned the anxiety. And the next morning, man, I felt refreshed. Refreshed. It is an awesome experience. So, okay, so what does the Zobra mean? It's a Spanish word meaning distressed. He's depicted with a white face. He has square, large eyes and these bright red lips. He's usually depicted with a bow tie and he has two buttons on his shirt. Now, the thing about the Zobra is that they dress him up in a theme every year. Like last year, they had this Harry Potter theme. This year was another theme. It escapes my mind right now, actually. But anyways, his hair was gold. Last year, his hair was green, and this year, his hair was gold. And oh, he had a rose petal. So when last year he had a magic wand because it was a Harry Potter theme. This one he had a tux with like a rose petal pinned to it. So they light it on fire and everything, and it's like this big. So when they come out and they do this dance, and like there's an actual story that's depicted through it, but it's in dance form. Okay, so when I watched the dance and then I looked up the story, it matches. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like the Native Americans come out and they start dancing and chanting, and a fire spirit like manifests, and she gets the dancing and like she lights it up, and like it's this big awesome thing. And like so when this guy had showed up and we're standing in line, and he's telling me about the story of the Zobra and how it's just like this ghost monster and everything. And I'm just like, I thought it was just like a club, like an art club that these Santa Feans like made back in the, because it was like 100 years old ritual, right? Like I guess the first Zobra was started in 1924. Okay, and it was started by what's his name, Will Shuster. I'm sure I butchered that name, but the artist is named Will Shuster, and he created the Kiwis Club. And every year they light this Zobra thing. So the first year was like in 1924. I think it was only like 5 feet. What I read. This year, 100 years into the future, it was 50 feet. Like this thing is huge. It's huge. Now it only burns for like 20 minutes the most. Okay, and it's over, right? But it's leading up to the event. It's the ritual that leads up to the event. So I'm just thinking that it's in my mind it's just some rich people because it's Santa Fe. Okay, it's just some rich people doing their little artsy thing and lighting things on fire. Well, and as I was doing research, it was basically he was inspired by a ritual of the burning of Judas. Like there's some fire ritual about Judas, and they march Judas around the town before they take him to the center of town and light him on fire. There's this big celebration and everything. So he was inspired by that. Okay, and then adopted just Native American mythos to this fire ritual, and called it, the burning of the Zobra. It's an awesome experience, guys. Like I can't really knock it. The tickets are about, what were the tickets? I want to say about $50. I want to say about $50. I should have wrote that down. Yeah, I didn't write that down. But the tickets were about $50. Your first time, you may just want to, take the shuttle thing. If you're young, do the whole shuttle thing. I'm up there, so I rented a hotel and a room and all of that. But I really think it's worth it. It's a pretty interesting experience. So if you're ever in New Mexico, Santa Fe around the beginning of fall, you might want to check out Zozobra. It's Tom McConnell Rex out.